What is going on, people? Back again for another review. Like I said in my previous video, Wild Eye Releasing was nice enough to send over a whole bunch of movies for me to review. So, what I did today, after work, after I did my walk, I watched two more movies. So, I will be reviewing them today for you right now. The first one is written and directed by Brett Piper, uh, produced by Brett Piper and Mark Polina, starring Michelle Simone Miller, Danielle Donahue, Rich Lounello. Again, if I mess up your last name, if the people happen to watch it, if I mess up the last name, I'm horrible with last names, so I guess kind of cut me some slack, maybe, possibly. Also starring AJ Delucia, Kathryn Metz, Steve Diasparra, and Ken Van Zandt. And this movie is Queen Crab. Um, Pretty much on all over the cover, it pretty much says, old school stop motion kind of horror movie. Well, it's got a whole bunch of that in it. Pretty much the premise of this movie is right in the beginning. There's a young girl, and she pretty much makes friends with a crab, which is a little bit bigger than most. It's very odd. You find out that something about a meteor or something happens, and in the beginning, she's pretty much hiding from her mother, befriends this crab at one point, and she's playing around with it, and her father's like testing all this stuff in his lab, and pretty much at one point her mother and her father get into an argument, and somehow all the stuff in his lab ends up blowing up. This is right before the credits even start, so it's not really a spoiler. So anyway, fast forward a few years, and she's ended up in the beginning living with her uncle, and then when she grew up, I guess she kind of just went out on her own. Well, as the movie progresses, you see her a little bit older, and you know as she grew older, so did her pet friend, whatever crab I guess you want to call it. Not only did it grow older, it grew bigger, and things started happening, and uh, I'll leave it at that. I don't want to give way too much away, but let's just say, there's a lot of death. The stop motion in this, like I said, it's all over the title. If you look at the back, one of the quotes and everything. At points in this movie, it kind of reminded me of, if you've ever seen it. I mean, you should have seen it, but Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. If you remember the scene when they were shrunken and they found the ant, and then at one point they're fighting this, what do you want to call it, the scorpion. If you remember that scene, it kind of reminded me every once in a while when you have the stop motion with the larger crab and little baby crabs and everything. When the stop motion hit, it kind of reminded me of that. It brought me back to the old days of, like I said, early 90s, late 80s kind of deal. It was definitely a very entertaining movie. There's one part that, definitely caught me off guard. At one point, they're fighting this large crab, and one of the guys ends up calling in this one arms guy. He's the sheriff in town, and he ends up calling in this arms guy that he brought in for having illegal arms, and he's like, you know what, I need your help at this point. Bring whatever you have. And let's just say he brings stuff that you wouldn't expect. I was thinking, maybe like rocket launchers and like machine guns and Uzis and everything. Well, he ends up bringing a little bit more. I'll leave that to when you watch the movie. Overall, I definitely, enjoyed this movie. Like I said, it brings me back to the olden days. You know, of the stop motion. Not so much. They had some CGI, but it did have that, cut scenes where you go from the entire crab to just an arm to different points. I enjoyed it. I'd say definitely go ahead, check it out if you have not already. Queen Crab. Everything that I said, director and starring and everything, will be in the notes below. So if you want to check it out, it'll be in the notes. The second movie that I have here, it written and directed by Benjamin Roberds. Again, like I said, and hopefully I say the names close enough. Director of photography and co-director Jordan Reyes. Executive producers Rick LaFleur, Alice LaFleur, and John Patterson. And it stars David Chandler, Max Moody, Eva Boehnke. Again, I'm probably horrible killing these names, but Kaylee Bridge, George McDonald's, and Mandy Riley. And that movie is Plague So Pleasant. A Plague So Pleasant. I thought this was, really well done, really shot well. I do have one gripe, which I'll get into, and it's not their fault. It's just me. I guess, different kind of. I'll get into it. Pretty much what this is a zombie movie, but a little bit different. Because in the beginning, it's people kind of coinciding with these zombies. Pretty much they find out, the only reason why zombies were after them was because they kind of started it. When you see a zombie, people started shooting up and everything. And that's why the zombies kind of acted the way they did, because they kind of humans started, I guess you want to call it. But it starts out black and white. And what it kind of reminds me of is the old school Nickelodeon Pete and Pete. When it's one character, kind of overdubbing, kind of, just pretty much talking about what's going on. And that part reminded me of Pete and Pete so much. I guess that's why maybe I enjoyed it as much as I did. But in the beginning, it's all black and white, and you just see, people coinciding with these zombies. And at one point, the two characters in the beginning, they were talking. One of the one wanted to date the other guy's sister, but she was interested in a zombie. Her boyfriend got turned into a zombie, and since he's still there, kind of coinciding, she's still in love with him. So the brother ends up, trying to save his sister, I guess you want to call it. He's like, she's in this trance. I got to do something. He ends up going and pretty much killing this zombie. And I guess at that point, all hell breaks loose because, like I said before, everyone coincided. No one shot anybody, so the zombies just kind of left everything alone until that happened. And they saw, one of theirs, I guess, get killed. And at that point, it actually turned from black and white to color, and it's pretty much a zombie apocalypse again, everyone trying to survive and such. The only gripe I had about it, and it's me personally, I don't know, some people might be different. I'm more of the old school zombies where, they're slow and dumb and not very fast. This is almost like the 28 Days Later, or I can't think if it's Dawn of the Dead or whatever, but these zombies are quick and fast. I don't know, it's just me personally that I enjoy the slower versions of the zombies, I guess. I'm sure there's people out there who enjoy the, fast-paced, quick kind of thing. It's just not for me, but again, that's my personal preference, I guess. It's not everyone's. But for the most part, it's the one kid trying to now, end up staying alive because of what he created kind of deal. I thought it was really cool. Like I said in the beginning, it's black and white, and then it turns to color. I thought the idea was really cool. Definitely something different. Most of the time, it's a zombie movie is pretty much, all death and destruction and trying to kill the zombies. In the beginning, in the first half, it's a little bit slower, but pretty much it just builds up to what's going to happen. And like I said, it's a pretty cool story where people and zombies were coinciding, I guess. Well, more people coinciding with the zombies, not bothering them, I guess. Kind of just like letting them be. But definitely, I'd say, if you're into zombie movies, definitely check this one out. Again, a plague, a plague so pleasant, and then also go ahead and check out Queen Crab. Uh, so yeah, those are my two reviews. Again, let me thank Wild Eye Releasing for sending me over these movies to watch and review. Definitely fun getting into these, lower budget, I guess you want to call it, like to see what goes on. And yeah, again, if you like my reviews, give me a thumbs up. If you don't, kind of give me some, you know, thoughts what I could do a little bit better. And yeah, I will be watching two more probably tomorrow. Hopefully, I get out of work a little bit earlier, so hopefully I can get two in. And then, like I said, I'm going to be doing two movies, a review, and then I'll have four videos up. So I guess until next time, I'll see you guys.